Alright, so good morning. Welcome to today's team building event. Today, we're going to be learning what to do in the event of an active shooter. We're going to bring in a special guest. She's actually an expert on this, and she's going to be leading our team building event. This is Kaylee.
If there was an active shooter, you'd all be dead. When you talk out loud, the shooter can tell where you are and where you're hiding. Sometimes we play the game who can stay quietest the longest, so we all remember. You can try and protect your friends by pushing the tables and chairs against the doors. You also have to put a piece of paper over the door window so they can't see in. And you can't cry. It gives away your position and your hiding spot. And if you're in the bathrooms, you have to stand on the toilet seat and crunch down so they can't see your feet and they can't see your head, so they don't know that you're in there.
That's crazy.
Try to listen for things that could help the police. For example, if you hear a lot of bangs like bang, 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 the shooter might be down the hall. Or if you hear louder ones like bang, 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 he could be right outside your door. If the shooter comes in the room, screaming won't do anything. You have to try and fight back. If you can't escape, we get taught the emergency window escape plan, where you have to break a window, put clothes over the frame, and climb through. Our teacher used to sing a song to make it easy to remember. Lockdown, lockdown, let's all hide. Lock the doors and stay inside. Crouch on down, don't make a sound.
So this year we hired a special law enforcement officer. His name Dave Molina. He's a retired captain out of Raritan. So he's a full-time police powers when he's at the school. So while he may be retired from law enforcement, when he's working in school, he does have all the same police powers that we have. We also hired a school safety director, Hank Warner. He's a former police officer as well with Bernards Township. You may have seen Sean Kiernan. He's also a former police officer walking around the grounds. He's been checking parking lots, checking doors. And again, it may seem a little much at times, but we'd rather have more than not enough. We installed we call the man trap in the front. So that kind of limits people who's coming in and coming out of school on a daily basis. All right.
I've gotten trapped there.
Yes, that's the whole point. You may be able to get through the first one, but that door stays locked to enter the school, and that's the only way you should be coming in and out.
Cool.
Currently, we are educating people about coming in and out of the building from other exits. We really are making a push to say we need to create a hardened shell around our building of protection, and we don't want people leaving and coming in any exit except the main exit, and that's really our big push. We are also educating people on how to, if they see something, say something. There was a situation in Bridgewater, New Jersey, where this young man, student, had a plan to hurt a lot of people in the school. And it was discovered because his girlfriend went into the guidance counselor and said, "Hey, I think my boyfriend wants to hurt somebody." Well, it turned out, in fact, that the student, had a plan and told the student resource officer, the police officer in the building, that, "Yeah, I have a plan, and I was going to first come after you and take care of you first, and then I was going to take care of other people in the building." When I mean take care, I mean harm. So, and how far away is Bridgewater from us?
Close.
So close.
Yeah.
So for us to sit here and think that nothing can happen is really foolish on our part. So we're not thinking that. So we're taking action. We need to protect people. We've done things already this year. We added people who can help keep us safe. We're not going to be safe if we all don't pitch in. We all, students, staff, support staff, everybody needs to pitch in and take it seriously, because if and when it does happen here, people are going to say, well, this happens every day in the United States. Someone dies every day from gun violence. Didn't you know that? Yes, we knew that. So we have to do what it takes to make it safe here. For you and for me. Wait.
Yep, yeah, that's it.
Okay. So that's what we got to do, and that's what we're trying to do. So that's what we're talking about with the We Tip thing. We want people to say something. If they hear something, tell somebody, because you could save a lot of people, and you can help an individual who is struggling.
Yes, I am a teacher at Columbine High School. There is a student here with a gun.
On April 20th, 1999, two students culminated months of planning by donning black trench coats and attacking their school. Armed with guns and an arsenal of homemade bombs, they terrorized teachers and peers.
They had a couple of duffel bags at their feet, and we witnessed them pulling out what we assumed to be paintball guns that later on turned out to be something completely different.
My secretary comes in and yells that there had been a report of gunfire and bombs exploding. So I ran out of my office, saw a gunman coming towards me. I remember hearing gunfire, and I remember glass breaking behind me.
I was laying in broken glass from the window that had gotten shot out. All I could hear was the fire alarms going off. And then the gunshots at a distance.
Okay, has anybody been injured, ma'am? Yes. Okay. Yes. And the school is in a panic, and I'm in the library. I've got students down under the tables, kids. Heads under the tables.
We were all crouched under the tables, and we could hear the gunshots getting louder, and a couple times there was a big boom, and the floor would shake.
On the floor! You better stay on the floor! Oh, God! Stay in the line with me. Oh, God! The gun is right outside the library door.
They came into the library. Eric leaned under the table and pointed his gun at me. I mean, I was like trembling under there like a little leaf.
I saw the shotgun, stared at the shotgun, and all I remember is it seemed like the barrel of the gun was the size of a cannon.
As soon as that bullet entered my backpack and actually paralyzed me, shattering my vertebrae, that's when the pain set in.
So there was like Eric on my right, and then Dylan was up on my left. And I looked up at Dylan and I said, "Hey, Dylan." And he said, "Hey, man." And I said, "What are you doing?" And it still like chills me how he was just like killing people.
The killers fatally shot 12 students and a teacher in less than 20 minutes. Then they turned the guns on themselves.
12 kids died on my watch, along with the teacher. In our lives, you're not supposed to bury your kids, and they were all my kids.
Before the world had fully grasped what had happened inside the school, there was a scramble to make sense of it.
We're getting coverage from 4 stations in the Denver area of a shooting at a high school.
A still developing situation, and one that looks like it's not going to be over anytime soon.
Horrors like Columbine terrify us, and we need an explanation. So even if we don't have an answer, we find one. And we find it really too fast.
2 witnesses that we talked to on the telephone describe them as members of the trench coat mafia. These are kids they claim routinely dress in black trench coats.
Kids were watching this on TV, and also it was the early days of cell phones. If they weren't seeing it, their friends were watching it on TV, calling them on their cell phones, and letting them know.
They were saying that they wanted to do this for their revenge. For the school, I guess, because, I mean, they're such an outcast at our school.
It was this little round and round feedback chamber. So when a kid goes on TV and says, "Oh yeah, they were outcasts," Another kid who doesn't really know the killers well or at all thinks, oh, they're outcasts. Oh, I didn't realize that. Then when he's interviewed, he says they're outcasts. So you're contaminating the witness pool like that.
So whether we're on par with our plans for safety emergencies that might occur at our school, we're on par with other schools. I think we are now. I think when I got here, we needed a lot of work to be done, but we've added all those things I've just articulated in terms of roving security personnel, facilities upgrades, cameras, implementing a visitor management system. So I think we're right on par, but that doesn't mean we can't do better. So we're going to look consistently and constantly for different things that we can do. We send our safety personnel to trainings to find out the best practices in safety and security in school buildings. So I think we're pretty good right now, but we'll always try to keep striving for more.
I know for a fact that we are above par.
Oh, that's good.
I know for a fact. Not only do I have personal relationships with other schools in the area, I'm not going to name which county, and I know these people who are in higher positions, but I also work with these people in other schools and compare notes and plans, and I know that we are above par, and we've picked up the speed, especially we picked up the speed of improving ourselves, especially in the past year or so, with paying more attention and taking it more serious and getting the right people on the task by hiring or involving the right people. So I know for a fact that we're in good shape, and we are picking up speed to become better, and because that's our motto.
All right, compared to the other schools in New Jersey, would you say we are on par with our plans of action for safety emergencies that might occur at our school? I would say we are on par, if not better. Again, with the hiring of the other positions that I mentioned before, that's taking a stance on security, as well as the SRPs, the standard response protocols, which is not only through all the schools in Burness Township, but then through the county as well. So if there were any kind of emergency that required other towns to be coming in, we're all on the same page. We all know what to do. That's why every year in the beginning of the year, whoever's the school resource officer will go to different schools and go over the SRPs. It may sound redundant, but it's also something that's very important. So you do it twice a month in drill form, and got to know that stuff like the back of your hand.
Maybe 15 minutes left before the bell rings and we all get to go home, and a fire drill went off. So I grabbed my bags and I'm with all my friends, and we're walking out when administrators begin screaming at us, code red, active shooter, and we all thought it was a drill, but we all run back to class and we're huddled under the desks.
I was picking my younger son up from school. He goes to a private school, and while sitting there I watched 6 or 7 police cars at top speed going down Riverside Drive. It was 2:37. I text Lewis. At that point, he was still under the desk in the classroom, and he said, we're not sure if it's a drill, but we've heard there's an active shooter. We've also heard he's in the freshman building. And I said, Lewis, it's not a drill.
Those of us that had signal were all on our phones, checking, looking at all the major news sites on social media, texting our friends, trying to figure out what was happening.
The next thing, I don't get any more communication from him because his teacher had taken Lewis and 18 of the other students into the closet, closed the door, and he lost cell coverage. So for, 45 minutes, me, his dad and his younger brother just sat watching TV, watching it unfold. He was still classed as he was still an active shooter. They still hadn't found him. They still hadn't caught him. And longest time of my life, longest day of my life.
The fear that I felt for myself and my friends, my classmates, my teachers, that feeling is unreal. I was texting my friend, are you like, I'm so scared, I don't know what's happening. And I was texting some of my other friends, are you okay? Like, where are you guys? Like, is everything okay? Like, are you safe? Are you in a safe place? Are you gonna be okay? I didn't tell my family until after I knew I was safe, because I didn't want for them to be scared. Like, I texted them like, I love you and like, I'm safe, but I didn't say what was going on because I couldn't handle it.
Do I agree with prevention or reaction? Certainly prevention. You want to try to do everything you could possibly do to prevent anything from happening. And I guess that ties into what I just said about the eyes and ears in the building. We want our staff and students to be in tune to what's going on, so that if there is a potential issue, we can head it off at the pass rather than trying to react after something occurs.
Do you agree with prevention or reaction? I agree with both. I prefer prevention with a plan for reaction. And what I kind of mean by that is, too oftentimes we see an incident happen and then the next thing is you overreact to it. But if you're preventing something from happening in the beginning, you don't have to worry about overreacting in the future. But with that being said, you can't plan for everything. So you always need to have a plan for reaction just in case something does go wrong. So
1,000,000,000% prevention and reaction. Prevention, though, mainly, because we can reduce the amount of casualties if we work hard as a team to prevent someone who is trying to hurt people here.
As I came aboard almost 2 years ago, I saw a need for that, so we have put in a front entrance here that has now a man trap feature where all the visitors are screened. We have a roving campus monitor who's a former police officer, retired. We now have a special law enforcement officer 3 designation it is, who's here on a daily basis, who is armed in our building. Wired all the doors, and that links to a remote system in 3 different places to let us know if doors are open. Worked on is the visitor management system. It's probably going to be implemented on a trial basis within a month.
Oh, wow.
And then hopefully on a full-time basis beginning next year. But also in addition to all the other things that I just articulated with respect to roving campus monitors and special law enforcement officers and the facilities. I should add that we have a whole new camera system too, which is updated from what was in place over the many years here. So that's a complete update, and we're looking to put additional cameras around the school.
In your lifetime as being a cop, have you ever had to face a shooter? No, and fortunately I could say no. The goal is to go 25 years without having to face a shooter. But with that being said, you have to train and plan like today may be that day. So while there potentially is a lot of downtime in this profession, you just always, you never know what's going to happen. It's not like you can predict your day. So you always have to plan to have that potential. But hopefully, that never has to happen.